Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest, Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics. It's a very good afternoon to you, Doctor.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Youmn. Of course, today President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi inaugurated the Egypt's Future Project for agricultural production along the Cairo-Daba Access Highway in the country's northwest. Could you tell us a bit, Doctor, about the importance of this project, especially that it is aiming to reclaim over 1 million fidans, all in the aim of bridging the gap between production, import, as well as achieving food security in Egypt?
Indeed, this project can play a significant role nowadays to address challenges we are facing. On top of them, the Ukrainian-Russian war, which has resulted in increasing prices of wheat and corn to large extent, and from here it comes that the situation is jeopardizing to large extent food security for specifically developing countries, including Egypt. Since Ukraine and Russia are major exporter of wheat to Egypt. Nowadays, such a project that has been inaugurated today is aiming to enhance the capability of Egypt to increase food like wheat and corn and other products for local production from one perspective, and from another to enhance the capability of exportation, since we know quite well that Egypt has gaining momentum towards exceeding export of fruits and vegetables. So this is quite important, and what we have seen today in the inauguration, specific messages from the President regarding the efficiency of the implementation of such projects, the cost and benefit, how to take care of the cost of implementation, and to how extent these projects may enable opportunities of job for specifically small farmers. Our president has emphasized the importance of such projects to generate small and medium projects towards livestock and as well as poultry. Egypt is having a very important capability to enhance, such products that we already have a very large gap regarding what we are importing and what we are in deep need for consumption nowadays. So the additional point that has been raised today is to how extent we can enable small farmers to have opportunities of job, and instead of giving those farmers every occasion like Ramadan and so on, instead of giving them just food to be eaten during this period, no, instead of it, we need to, enhance their capabilities by offering them opportunities for small and micro credit, soft loans, in order to enable them to start their own business and to contribute to the production. This is actually the most important message, and I believe this needs a lot of work to be done. Absolutely. Because, in this we have large types of projects that can be, in order to enable farmers and young entrepreneurs to be engaged in such projects, we need a lot of efforts to be done by enhancing, the capabilities of the institutional capacity building. Who is going to get the large projects and to enable small farmers to have their own business in livestock and in poultry specifically. Nowadays, we have a huge amount of investment in our poultry industry, and this industry is suffering from severe problems that we have to to address it. We witnessed, you know, in Ramadan to what extent poultry has, you know, witnessed increase in the prices. So by the organization of such industry, enabling more producers and organizing such industry by having some of the imported products like corn, you know, all these activities may help a lot towards achieving food security for Egypt,
yes,
and have reasonable price for such a very important product.
Absolutely. Doctor, you mentioned a very important issue, and even the President today spoke about it, which is the need for the government to increase awareness campaigns for the farmers when it comes to agricultural mechanisms, as well as other issues like best types of seeds, optimization, modern smart irrigation systems, etc. And the President spoke about the need to achieve food security for Egypt, as you mentioned, a very important end game really for this national mega project. Now, Doctor, let me ask you very quickly, the infrastructure and administration of this project is really on a very large scale. We're talking a fully fledged integrated system, mechanizing agriculture and irrigation, the equipment, even the infrastructure around the area in order to allow easy accessibility for the producers and the consumers. How important is this multifaceted approach to this national mega project in your opinion, Doctor?
I believe that this needs quite well to specify the role of government with the private sector. Nowadays in Egypt we are talking about how to differentiate between the role of government and the private sector. What are the rules and you know that should be specified in order to have the fair competition between private and public sector, and how we can introduce small entrepreneurs into such ecosystem. So yes, I believe these are required quite well, taking into consideration such a mega project in which we have you know, thousands of activities that may raise, like you mentioned, we don't we have projects regarding, you know, renewable energy, yes, solar energy, you know, desalination of water, recycling of water, recycling even of waste, you know, starting. So thousands of projects. So who is doing what is quite important. What is the visibility study for each project is quite important to be specified. Who is going to finance such projects? How to regulate financing between private and public sector, how to achieve the fair competition between the two sides. So all these are very important questions that should be answered in order to guarantee a win-win situation in which all partners can benefit from such projects, as well as, you know, Egypt, generally speaking, by enhancing food security and productive capacities that we are looking forward all to increase it for the benefit of Egyptians all.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and your insight and for joining us this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our coverage. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back in a few minutes for this afternoon's edition of Panorama News.